Hi, today I'm going to go over the installation of the Idlestopper V2 module in a Honda Ridgeline. This install isn't too bad. The worst part is removing this wireless charging pad, if you have one. If you don't, there will be just a rubber mat that lifts up here and there will be 2 screws underneath. But for this model, we're going to need to remove this wireless charging pad to access the 2 screws that are underneath it. There is a couple of slots in the charging pad itself that I can show you here. There is a slot right down here, right here, and one on the other side, and that is the place where you're going to be putting your flathead screwdriver into. So you're going to want to lay down a towel or something. You can use a plastic pry tool like this, or you can use a screwdriver, just a flathead tip screwdriver. You're going to lay the rag in between the console and the screwdriver so you don't scratch up this trim on here. So basically just lay the rag down, and then you're going to stick that flathead screwdriver in that tab and just pop in the backward and upward direction. We're going to do that for both sides, and that's going to loosen this wireless charging pad up to where we can just lift it up and out. There is one connector on the bottom, so we're just going to go ahead and unplug that and move that out of the way. Next thing we're going to do is remove the 2 screws that are underneath. There's one on this side and one on that side. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. All right, so now that we've got our screws out, the next thing we need to remove is this shifter panel. And you can grab underneath on the bottom side here and pull upward, or you can use a trim tool and go in the sides on the bottom here where there's a crease. It's just easier just to reach down here and pull up on the panel. It's pretty easy to lift up. The whole thing will detach and it will come up and over like this. What we're needing to access here is this idle stop switch connector right here. So I'm going to turn this over here, and we're going to unplug the idle stop switch connector. There's a little white tab on it to push in on the top, and once you push it in, it will release the lock and you'll be able to pull the connector out. Next from here, we're going to take our Idlestopper module out of the package. So now that we've got it out of the package, we can take one end of the Idlestopper module here, and it looks just like the factory connector, and that's going to plug directly into the idle stop switch like that. And then the other side is the factory wire is just going to plug directly into the Idlestopper there, just like this. And that's all we have. You can zip tie it up to this wire harness here and keep it nice and secure. We also have some foam padding in case you wanted to mount it somewhere up here and keep it from rattling. The only thing left we have remaining is to put this all back together. So now that we've got our Idlestopper module installed, we can go ahead and put this panel back in here. And it's just going to rest back into its place and then clip straight back down. And the next thing we're going to do is put our 2 screws back in. And then last, we will grab our charging pad here and plug it in on the bottom. And we'll slide that back in backside first and then clip it back down into place. All right, so now that we've got the console and everything back together, we can go ahead and start the vehicle up and test it out. It should take about 5 to 7 seconds, and the auto idle stop off light should illuminate down here on the bottom left of the gauge. There it is right there, just a message showing that it was disabled. You can reach back down at any time and turn the system back on if you'd like, or off again. If you do turn it on and leave it on, and then you shut the vehicle off, it will still automatically revert to being in the off state at startup. So once again, the Idlestopper will just turn it off automatically for you at each startup, so you don't have to. And there's the light right there confirming that the idle stop is disabled. So we are fully finished here, and thanks for watching.